What is the scope of our efforts? Are we trying to boil the ocean? More times than not, we see organizations trying to start or restart their enterprise architecture with too big of a scope. This is not smart. So what is smart with scope, with regards to scope? Well, let's start small. Let's support, for example, a specific business project. We like to use the term low-hanging fruit. Let's go after some low-hanging fruit. What are some known kind of challenges in the organization or problems that the business is trying to address? Let's get some quick wins and build some support for this notion of architecture and using enterprise architecture to make decisions. Let's target a specific business objective. So what's a good example? Maybe there's a business objective to improve customer service. Well, what are some things that we can do from an enterprise architecture perspective, or some questions that we could answer from an enterprise architecture perspective? Well, what are the systems and services that we expose to our customers, and how is that experience? What processes directly involve customers? How effectively do we manage customer data and information? How can IT technology improve customer satisfaction? When we talk about enterprise architecture, a lot of times, some of the pundits talk about kind of the various layers or perspectives of architecture, enterprise architecture, be it strategy, process, data, application, technology, etc. A lot of times we don't really put that into kind of realistic, pragmatic perspectives. Hopefully you see that concept applied in a very pragmatic approach. Through looking at any one of these, we're talking about systems or processes or information or technology. And if we address any one of these, we'll have greater clarity to make better decisions. But if we look across all of them, we'll have that much more clarity to make that much better decision. To take this a half a step further, we want to share with you a real-life example, and this is something that we see from a number of different customers, where they'll come to us and say, we're standing up an EA program, and these are our goals. We want to support, or we want to move and modernize our IT portfolio, our IT infrastructure. We need to support business transformation. We need to support our ITIL management group. We have to do manage business rules. We have SOX compliance, etc. To attack or to tackle all these objectives right out of the gate or with a restart is simply too much. Our approach is to try to identify a set of objectives and then a set of specific tasks that will help you reach those objectives. And we're going to lay out a plan for you, and then we're going to identify some of the low-hanging fruit or some manageable first steps, such as let's determine some areas of improvement, both in the business and IT. Let's identify some gaps and opportunities and develop a migration plan. The tasks we need to be able to accomplish to do that are to capture our current state architecture within the context of those areas of improvement, the future state, and then do some gap analysis and drive business requirements. From there, then, we can address, as the program matures, as the effort matures and builds some momentum, some of the longer-term objectives, such as managing a program or project portfolio, tracking the migration to a future state, etc. We think this is case-wise smart. Let's take the conversation now to teams. So, as a general rule of thumb, EA programs are done by some EA team, and in your organization it might be the IT architecture team, or it might be there might be something called an EA team or an EA program. Well, what are some of the trends that we've seen, or some of the mistakes that we've seen in the community? Well, sometimes we see organizations or EA teams that tend to operate on an island. So they're focused kind of inwardly on either building models or collecting information, but they're not building those bridges with key folks in the business community, key folks in management, and engaging these folks in the active development and use of architecture. Or maybe they're operating from an ivory tower, so they're not really in touch with reality. Maybe they're developing these kind of grandiose kind of architectural perspectives or these grandiose ideas, but they're so removed from kind of ground truth with regards to either the business operations or the IT environment, that their architectures and architectural blueprints are considered to be just pie in the sky, pipe dreams. In either case, what ends up happening is we're trying to steer a cruise liner with a single paddle. We're kind of operating in this, in kind of this mode where we have all these grandiose ideas, or we think we're making a difference, and yet we're simply not going to have make the impact on the organization without getting others actively involved. So this isn't smart. What is smart with teams? Well, EA is a team sport. You need your executive sponsor, and this is kind of the equivalent to the team owner. This provides kind of the guidance and the strategic direction. In many cases, it's the funding, and it's the link into the C-level executives. You need a project manager, and this is your general manager, someone who is actively managing the people, managing relationships, interfacing with the executive sponsor. You need team leads and technical leads. So these are your player coaches, folks that are skilled in the various architectural domains or technologies, be it business process modeling or data modeling or working with the analysis tools, but also good in managing and dealing with people. Your core architecture team, these are your team captains. These are the folks that are kind of the expert architects in managing the models, managing the information, and kind of managing the core operations of the architecture team. Critically important is the extended team. So these are like role players on a team. These are either subject matter experts in the business areas, subject matter experts in the various IT application areas, folks that are contributing to and actively involved in the EA. And your stakeholders, that's your fan base. Everything that we do in the context of enterprise architecture has to be done in the context of delivering value to stakeholders, be it greater clarity around how certain business operations are working, providing an analysis of alternatives, etc. And this is like our fan base. EA is about meeting the distinct needs of the entire team. It's simply not a spectator sport. From a Casewise perspective, we see our suite of tools and capabilities as enabling this team approach to enterprise architecture. We provide the tools necessary for the core EA team to do what they do best, which is architect, build models, integrate information, provide the touch points between the various perspectives, etc. At the same time, we also provide the tools necessary to enable the stakeholders and the extended team to get actively engaged in terms of providing information, doing analysis, making decisions, and gaining that clarity that we talked about. And we do this through an integrated suite of tools and capabilities. Again, the modeling tools for the architects, the analysis tools, and the vision tools, and the tools for the executives to integrate and make decisions. We like to call this structured collaboration, and we think this is Casewise smart. The next conversation is frameworks.